So I had this thing profile like my game while I played it using tools in VibeUE um, that were added by Exterius, and he's got the editor control, start, stop, pie, launch the tracing tools and dig into them. Then it can also use some of the coding layer to go through there. So it did all that. It found like some GPU CVR stuff with shadow depths. It changed some settings on lights across the level, made some blueprint changes, uses VibeUE to go back and forth and read the different blueprints and things like that. Now I'm doing like a complete refactor, implement a best practices solution because I found the character movement. This is just a game I built in class. So it has all the characters loading in the level at once and they're all running around and patrolling and stuff like that. So rather than like you get to a section and it loads that section, this is just a class project. It just puts characters over here, puts characters over here, so characters up there. Got this whole graveyard thing up here with a bunch of zombies. There's got main characters up here. So there's too many people running around patrolling at once. In other games, I've done systems myself to handle that, but in this, I recently took the state tree course, behavior trees. So I asked it to do something based off of those, and then it reaches out and it uses my Unreal Engine skills thing, which has domain knowledge about Unreal Engine, and it got stuff on AI perceptions and state trees, and then it came up with this significance manager, which I wasn't familiar with. But yeah, that's the thing, and it works both in um, Unreal and UEFN. I had to double check that, and I looked at my plugin; it was enabled. So that significance manager is going to be used to help measure whether or not to like go into a patrolling mode or something. I'm gonna look more into that. I told it to do like a refactor and come up with a plan for how it's going to do it. And it's got the state tree shape and all that good stuff. Um, and I said to use C++ over BP when appropriate in implementing the solution. And it agrees. And it says that's in my best practice stuff. So that's good. So now it's just going about doing its thing. I don't know. I was at like 40 frames per second when I started. Now it's only a few frames per second better. If I stat FPS, you can see getting in the 42, 46s. It was in like the 36 to 40. Now it's in like the 40 to 45 range, maybe up and down a little bit. So it's better, which that's a 10% improvement, right? And that's only over a couple hours. I'm hoping when it does this big thing, um, that'll help even more. But I've been testing the tools. You did a really good job building them. I had to just make sure I wired up my skills system. I was missing that. That's a big thing. You want this Claude MD to make sure that it imports this sample agents MD because that sample agents MD has a bunch of information about the different skills that are built into VibeUE and how to load them. Uh, so I don't know. It's the thing, and it's just got a lot of instructions. It's for the agent. Let me see. Content sample agent. Here you go. Whole bunch of stuff that'll make VibeUE run better. So you can put that in there your own. Just make that's really the only thing you're gonna wire up. And then on the MCP server side, I have both Unreal Engine skills and VibeUE. Public Discord, that's how my code posts out to you guys when I do updates. You can read your stuff too. So this is running and on. It could take all night to do the refactor. I'll be honest with you, it's got a lot of refactoring to do, but it's going to take something that I know is not best practice. It found it as not best practice. I'm not going to argue with that, and hopefully it's going to refactor it all to be best practices and use state trees instead of what I just wrote from hand. And yeah, that'll be cool. Hopefully we'll get a lot better frame rate. But 10% win in like 2 hours, that's already pretty good. And it wasn't a 10% like I could just sit there and change C bars and I could make your game faster, right? Like I can make your game run at 400 frames per second and it's fake. Um, this actually went and adjusted things with shadows and lights and refactored blueprints to share a parent, change things inside that parent, so changing it across all of them. Like it did a lot of good stuff in the refactoring. All right, so Claude finished its refactor, and now when I run the game, we can see we're around 46 here, and when I stop down at the bottom where it was before, all right, so right here, I've been seeing numbers. See, it's hitting the five. So this was at 40. Now it's in the 50-ish, right? So that's a 20% gain right there. And I didn't start this until like 7:30 maybe. So less than 3 hours. We get 20% gain. And just to show you what I do, fast travel to the characters are still moving, right? Um, and they still chase me and stuff like that. So they still work. All right. All right. So that's good. Again, this wasn't like fully fledged out before. So let's check it out again. Okay, frame rate has improved. All right, so our frame rate has improved. We need to test to see how we can improve it more. Run. So he's just going to move the starting position. So we're near some people. I don't know. So you can see it's looking at game threads and all this good stuff. Let's see what's bound. This could take a while. It's cool stuff though. I mean, just a 20% improvement in a day is like pretty big, I think. So I am doing retargeting. So I have one skeleton and then all these different meshes are retargeted to that skeleton so that I can use the same animations forever. That's how the animation project does it inside of um, Unreal Engine, the sample project. I did this, I think, before they did, or around the same time. So I didn't like copy their code. I kind of just did it. Um, and this is also that was in like 5.2, 5.3. We're on 5.7.4 now. There might be some better ways of doing that. So This change should take less time if it's not going to do a giant refactor of how the skeleton actually works. And live retargeting is like a legit thing to use. I'm pretty sure Fortnite does that heavily. All right, so saying it's gonna refreeze a character now when he's not off screen, and you could still probably do this to like spawn random characters in that area and not just have people sitting in a level, right? But again, this wasn't a full ball game. Um, and the fact that it's not like a good game and written to any types of best practice probably makes it a good test for these tools. So, let's see what we get here. I removed the spot, so that might not be true. So let's checking it out. And I think it actually moves my character, right? I didn't move it. Whoops. Yeah, let's move it over here. I feel like if I gave AI full control of the character, it would be too slow. Punch and kick and all that stuff. Oh, let's see if the characters still move right. Yeah, they're still animated correctly. Let's see what that did to our frames per second. Oh, look at that. We're almost at 60 now, right? Let's just drop down a little bit, but we're higher. We got a higher frames per second. We're getting better. We're trending in the right direction. Oops, I shouldn't have stopped that. I stopped by. I wanna, all right, so now it's saying the next set of changes that we can get are still about 2 poses each. Can we Are we not? Did we? I don't have it. So if I looked up the sample animation project and then connected the MCP to that, I would probably get an idea of what they did differently. Um, so my deep research tool lets it like go out to the internet and do things for you. Claude might be able to do that by yourself, but you can ask these same questions from the editor and it should be able to tell you. Um, and not everybody's IDE is as impressive as Claude's. So the other thing my deep researcher does is it does some geocoding information. Uh, if you use the tool to say like, give me a map of this location, so don't just delete it if you want to use it for generating levels. So we did the same thing that Lyra does, and that sounds correct. Which I think that's how Epic was doing it at the time. Yeah, see, there you go. Uh, yeah, that was like a key setting. I remember that. Describe. So I wasn't gonna sit there and retarget animations and test all this stuff, but if AI can do it for me, I'd be okay with that. And that's a massive regret too. Um, I think I'm just gonna leave it, to be honest with you, because this isn't a game of shipping, and I'm trying to just build AI tools right now. But if I need to upgrade the AI tools to do the job, I'll upgrade the AI tools and test them. Uh, but I'm not gonna sit here and wait for all those different static meshes and to all be baked into different things. Like that seems like it's gonna be a time processing thing. Maybe I'll kick it off and record another video tomorrow. see, my only worry is I have to do this with so many things that I'd rather just say that I followed Epic's best practices and they're a little slow. All right, so I'm just gonna leave that. I'm not gonna change that today. Um, but we got a good win. I'm pretty happy with the performance tools overall.